So when Red is finally paroled after 38 years in prison, it's Andy's presence in his life that really revitalizes him and allows him to sort of dream and hope for the future. Unlike Brooks Hatlin, who was also an institutionalized man, um, Red sees sort of, he has a goal in mind, and it's Andy's presence that really helps him overcome some of the obstacles that he sees adjusting to life outside of prison. So he does discuss all the difficulties of trying to adjust to life outside. Um, he talks about the differences of working at the grocery store. The music is different, women are different, everything about technology is different. There's cars and everything, and it's very overwhelming. But he credits Andy as the one who sort of inspires him and gives him hope to continue his struggles, even though it's not easy, and to not give up hope. So this is on page 103. Red says, "If I had never known Andy, I probably would have done that, given up, that is. But I kept thinking of him spending all those years chipping patiently away at the cement with his rock hammer so he could be free. I thought of that and it made me ashamed, and I dropped the idea again. Oh, you can say he had more reason to be free than I did. He had a new identity and a lot of money. But that's not really true, because he didn't know for sure that that new identity was still out there. And without the new identity, the money would always be out of reach. No, what he needed was just to be free, and if I kicked away what I had, it would be like spitting in the face of everything he had worked so hard to win back." So Red sort of continues to dream of the future, and it's that's Andy's sort of escape and his desire for freedom that inspires Red to keep his hope alive. And that's where we can sort of discuss this idea of hope. The subtitle to this section of different seasons is "Hope Springs Eternal." So hope springs eternal life, or hope springs eternal love, that type of thing. So we can sort of suggest that it is Andy's friendship and Andy's the model of pattern, his inspiration, his dreams for the future that inspire Red to keep going with life and not to give up hope. So Red starts looking through the hayfields at Buxton, and he's looking for that piece of volcanic rock that Andy discussed with him when he was still in prison. And so on his weekends, Red would go and look for this rock in Buxton and try to find that stone wall. And then eventually he finds that rock with black glass, that volcanic rock. And then when he finds it, underneath he finds a note that's addressed to him, and it reads, this is on page 105, "Dear Red, if you're reading this, then you're out. One way or another you're out, and if you followed along this far, you might be willing to come a little further. I think you remember the name of the town, don't you? I could use a good man to help me get my project on wheels. Meantime, have a drink on me, and do think it over. I will be keeping an eye out for you. Remember that hope is a good thing, Red, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I would be hoping that this letter finds you and finds you well. Your friend, Peter Stevens." So this volcanic rock, which houses this letter that sends the message to Red that hope is a good thing, and that he is extending this invitation to Red again to join him in Zihuatanejo. The rock, obviously this one symbolizes hope for Red's future, and it is that special piece of glass that stands out from the other rocks. So in this way, it's also a reflection of Andy's life, his inspiration, and what he's meant in terms of Red's own transformation. So over the course of the novel, we've seen how Red has transformed from sort of viewing himself just as a criminal, as somebody who belonged in prison, and that was the only life he knew of for himself since he entered as an 18-year-old man. And we have watched him transform through Andy's help, and at this point in his later stages of life, he finally has this sort of new hope and sense of purpose in his life that has given him a sort of second lease on life. And the novel itself ends with the Red sort of heading down towards Zihuatanejo, and the repetition of "I hope, I hope, I hope" are the final lines. Sort of reiterates the fact that for Red, his whole future is open for him. Right? He's no longer a broken man. His spirit is alive, and he's again dreaming of a life of freedom. And he says, "I hope Andy is down there. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope to see my friend and shake his hand. I hope the Pacific is as blue as it has been in my dreams. I hope." So again, we see the important symbolic relationship that Andy and Red have sort of created over the course of the novel, and the importance that that relationship has on Red's own sense of self, and the way he's sort of repaired his spirit through hope and not giving up, the way that an institutionalized man gives up on himself after being sort of beaten down and broken down through the prison system. So that's where we sort of end. King's narrative ends with this scene where Red is on his way to meet up with Andy. In the film version, there's even more closure where the two men are shown reuniting on the beach, the sands of Zihuatanejo. So it has a very sort of nice closed ending and very satisfactory in terms of reinforcing the sort of positive messages of how how we can sort of endure hardship and then come out on the other side renewed, and the sort of transformative powers of hope in our lives. So some critics have sort of emphasized the allegorical elements of Shawshank Redemption, and they viewed it as a kind of Christian allegory or sort of biblical allegory in a way. And Andy's character is sort of aligned with a Christ-like figure in the fact that he is an innocent man who's sort of wrongly accused of this crime and then suffers sort of long suffering and faces betrayal and judgment and just endless suffering, and then he is sort of reborn on the other side of the prison, and in this way sort of this is a kind of metaphorical resurrection or rebirth. And there's some sort of religious imagery in the film, that scene where he comes out on the other side of the sewer pipe and opens his arms. It's sort of a crucifixion or rebirth imagery. And we can also sort of look at the title, Shawshank Redemption, and consider what it means to be redeemed, who is redeemed, and where is the redemption in the novel. So to become redeemed is to sort of grow and improve and to make up for past sins. And I think if we consider all of the characters through this lens of redemption, that would sort of make the case that this story is really about Red as a central character, right? It seems as if Andy's our main character, but really the story is based on Red as the narrator and how Andy inspires his own, how Andy inspires Red's own transformation of character. So it's Red really who is redeemed and who gains hope and a new sense of self over the course of the narrative. So he's on the brink of giving up and becoming just an institutional man, just like Brooks Hatlin, but Andy inspires him and sparks this new life and new strength, inner spirit within Red. So that's where I think the redemption comes in. So once you're done reading the novella and have watched the film, you can, again, start working on those wiki pages if you have not already, and one of them is devoted entirely to foreshadowing. So this is a literary device where the author is giving hints or insinuating plot points, plot developments that will come to fruition later in the story. So foreshadowing is often sort of minor details that are often, when you read them the first time, they're very insignificant, and they only become important later on. So this sort of builds suspense or adds sort of complexity to the narrative. So Shawshank Redemption is full of that type of hidden hints of what will develop with the rest of the story. So I want you to go back and brainstorm, think of all the hints or clues that indicate that Andy was building up towards an escape from Shawshank. So try to find some little clues within the narrative that give us a hint that that's what's going to happen to his character. So you can add those to the wiki page and think about all those little glimpses that we have that maybe you didn't notice them the first time. So go back and look at some of those details and add them to your notes page.